everyone. How are you? I hope everyone's having a beautiful day. Tuesday. I hope you're having a beautiful Tuesday. And welcome to Vermont Sun and Shade. So Umi and Mashuki are a little closer over to the window this morning. But yes, I wanted to start off actually talking just a little bit about them, just to kind of give you a couple tips that I've learned recently on them. And we may do in this video, we'll see on timing or the next one, but fall is upon us. So we're going to start looking at the fall foods for our pet finches. So that's probably going to be the very next video. I might do that today because I'm researching it. I did buy them some apples the other day. They're not crazy about apples. And I got them some squash, and they will peck at that a tiny little bit. But if you're new to the channel, I kind of just jump on here and give different little news clips, or if I'm walking out and about, sometimes I'll bring you with me on the camera. So thank you so much for being with me this morning, guys. And if you don't know, we talk a lot about Umi and Mashuki, and those are my pet finches behind me. Hi, honeys. Hi, Mashuki. Mashuki is watching diligently. He's been watching me all morning. They love to just sit and perch, and when they put their head forward like that and they're watching you, they love you. So anyway, with that, welcome to the channel. And so I wanted to give you a couple of tips before we begin these articles. Is the corn, when I peel it back, the silky part of the corn, they love, and they can handle that. Now, they love the husk, but they can't handle it because it's so wide and it's big, and it's too much for them. So it was advised, don't give them any husk, this and that. But Umi, there was one slight piece of husk, like kind of really close on the corn, like underneath it, and she found it, and she took it off, and she was trying to add it to her nest. She'd take it out of the nest and put it in the water, and then it's okay, guys. So thank you for being here. People will see it later. So they will actually try to take the corn husk and soften it. So, but they love it in their nest. Now you can't really see, but what they're doing with the corn husk, and the reason they love it, is because it will arch. They're trying to get herbs and different things that arch. They can arch it, like put a kind of a little roof on their own little nest. So what I did is I took the corn husks and I cut them and just rip them into teeny tiny little, very thin pieces. So they're able to handle it. And hi, Blueberry, how are you? So they're able to handle it, take it, and use it to build their nest. Okay, guys, I have like a number of different articles to share with you this morning. And so we're going to get right into that. Hold on here. Very first one is a missing woman. And I'm going to show you the picture too. And hi, I want to thank you for being with me. And oh, you're new, huh? Okay, well, welcome, welcome. And thank you for being here. Thank you for having a cup of coffee with me. So I want to show you a picture of this woman. And she's missing in what they call St. Albans, Vermont. So I'm going to flip this. This is her. That's a TV in the background, so I'm trying to hold this. So it says, I'm going to show you her for full picture here. So for those of you who don't know, St. Albans is very close, right on the border of Canada. I mean, so much in northern Vermont is, but St. Albans is like right there. So according to the St. Albans police, 28-year-old woman has been missing, reported missing, and she was last seen on Sunday afternoon. So now we're into Tuesday, and her name is Crystal Saint Amour, 28 years old. She was last seen on Messenger Street. Now, for those of you who don't know, Messenger Street is a pretty popular street in St. Albans. It's like, you know, Messenger Street if you know Main Street, okay? And it's about 3:30 p.m. So I guess that's when she was last seen. Now, this is her picture. Take a look at her. Now, to me, she has very distinct eyes. Even though she's looking up, it looks to me like her eyes, and I don't want to use the word bulge, but her eyes are large and it looks like they protrude a tiny bit to me. It's difficult to tell, but that's what it looks like to me. As an artist, that's what that looks like to me, her eyes. So that's something that you may want to pay attention to. So she is described as a Caucasian woman, about 5'1" and 100 pounds. She's a very small person, guys, with brown hair, brown eyes. She has piercings. She has tattoos on her left and her right forearms depicting, so this is distinct, depicting a rodent. So I don't know if that means like a little mouse type tattoo or it looks like a rat, but it's a rodent. And picture on her forearm, and it reads love, respectively. So the word love is tattooed onto her arm. So this, maybe it was a pet or something, who knows, but it's an image of a rodent and the word love. She was reportedly last seen wearing a black and white striped sweater. Anyone who knows of her whereabouts, or if you think you saw her somewhere, call the St. Albans Police in Vermont, 802, and then 524-2166. This is her picture again. So hopefully they find her. A lot of these, a lot of the missing persons they do find, because, you know, maybe she's with a friend, because it's only been a couple of days, so hopefully they find her. Maybe she is with a friend, let's hope. Okay, so that is her. Her name is Crystal Saint Amour. Okay. So that's Crystal. And we're going to come back here to the bird songs in a moment. Oops. Hold on, guys. Okay, so over here, I want to go over with you the flip this. Okay, so you can see Umi and Mashuki, for those of you who like to watch. And I'm just going to read here, okay? So this is AI. And I did hear about one of these that's listed here. And bye-bye. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Okay. So recent animal and wildlife incidents in Vermont are growing concerns over domestic leash law compliance and human-wildlife overlap. So what they're talking about there is a lot of these incidents are occurring when the dog pet is off the leash, and wildlife like coming out of the forest. That's what they're talking about. Fatal off-leash attacks. Okay, let's read this one. This one is in Waitsfield, they're talking about right away. And I heard about this, but I never got to read it, so I was researching it this morning. So what this says is town officials expressed outrage after back-to-back fatal incidents involving off-leash dogs. Now, I know love dogs. I've had dogs my entire life. The only last couple of years is the only time I haven't had a dog. I know as sweet as pie, because my English Bulldog was as sweet as pie. Let me tell you, they can have a day or run into a person or a dog. That is, they are picking up hormones that are putting them off balance and making them mad. They run by their instinct, so you have to remember that, guys. Town officials expressed outrage after back-to-back incidents with off-leash dogs. So an unleashed pit bull, and I'm sorry to say it was a pit bull again, pit bull killed a leash. Oh, I didn't know it killed it. I thought it injured it. Oh, gosh darn it. It killed a leashed miniature poodle. So I had a miniature poodle. I had gifted it to my mom, and when she passed away, I got it. His name was Theo. He was only this big, guys. He was tiny, tiny. On July 27th, and so it would just take one bite. So a separate off-leash dog breach at the town fairgrounds, and, oh, it says and, so it must have been on the same day. Oh, no, that was August. Oh, this is recent. Today's the 11th, so this was several days ago. And a separate off-leash dog breach at the town fairgrounds killed 2 invasive, not weed-eating goats on August 6th. Okay, I don't know if you know, but I don't know what a not weeding goat. Let's look this up. Not weeding goat. What did that say? Let's see, guys. Not weed eating goat. Let's see what they look like. Oh, they must have been at the fair. These goats eat invasive Japanese knotweed and serve as an eco-friendly way to defoliate and weaken dense. This is like an excellent way. Seriously, guys, if you own property, if I ever own property again, I will totally get some of these goats. But I'll show you what they look like, guys. It looks like they're mostly, okay, here. This is what they look like. They're pretty good size. It doesn't look like they're miniature goats to me. Looks like they're a good sized goat, and it looks like the dog killed them. I can't say that word, Lord. Attacked them. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so those are 2 incidents that occurred. July 27th, a pit bull killed a tiny little poodle, and so that pit bull was off its leash. And you have to remember, okay, this is what we're going to do right now, because we were going to do this before. Let's just do it. DNA in pit bulls. Let's see how far back the pit bull goes. Really? Guys, I don't know if you knew this, because I didn't know this. Now, I had an English Bulldog, and I can tell you right now, it was the gentlest thing on the face of this earth. But there were several incidents in one location of the woods, of the forest where I lived, that he would absolutely, I don't know what he was trying to attack because I couldn't see anything, but he must have been picking up a scent. It was the only time I ever saw him, and he was on his leash. Okay, so we're going to read this. Okay, just check this out. The lineage of, this is AI overview. The lineage of a pit bull traces back to the early 19th century in Britain. Britain, okay, so England, Ireland, and Scotland. Go back roughly 200 years to the crossbreeding of Old English bulldogs and working terriers. Guys, 200 years? I expected to read thousands of years. Hold on. Roots and evolution. In the 1800s, the bull and terrier breeders crossed the athletic Old English bulldog with local terriers. Yeah, to come to think of it, the pit bull right here, like its chest and totally looks like a old English bulldog. So they crossed the Old English bulldog with the local terriers to create agile, tenacious dogs. Used initially, check it out, bull baiting and later dog fighting in pits. Guys, we got to know what we're doing when we have a pit bull. This is in their DNA. This is what they were made for. Oh my. You know, when I think of that, I think of memory and DNA that's just there without you knowing it. So if there's something that, let's say, a person might have on them or they smell or something, that may be triggering their DNA. You just see way too many pit bull attacks. Am I right? What do you think? What I want to know, hold on a second. How far back does the Old English bulldog go? And then we're going to come back. So there's more. There's more information. Hold on. How far back does the Old English, because this is in its DNA, bulldog go? Don't forget that an English bulldog has a massive jaws. I know, I had one. They go back 17th, 18th century in England, where it was bred used for the violent blood sport of bull baiting. So the Old English bulldog goes back even farther for bull baiting. The original historic strain became extinct, thank God, in the 19th century. Let's go back in the history timeline for Old English bulldogs. The Old English bulldog in the 1600s to the 1700s developed a fierce, agile working dog for baiting bulls. They don't just shut that off. That becomes inherent to the dog. So for example, with a pit bull being part Old English bulldog, right there automatically it's in its DNA, like 24/7 to be attacking. Guys, I think people, this is just my take on it. I don't know if the pit bull, this past week, a couple of pit bulls, two. One unalived a little miniature poodle, one unalived goats. So, it's in their DNA. I don't know if those dogs got loose. It is not the dog. So we've got to be responsible more as the human ownership here. Okay. In 1835, the British Parliament passes the cruelty to animals and banned the bull baiting. So, but you're still talking centuries of it in their DNA. 1850s and 1860s, without working purpose, the original Old English Bulldog type fades into extinction, eventually evolving into today's smaller, tamer English Bulldog. My Bulldog was pretty good size. He really was. He was not tiny, I can tell you that. Okay. So let's go back here for the pit bulls. The roots and the evolution. So in 1835, when the British Parliament they banned the bull baiting via cruelty to the Animals Act, a focus shifted towards the smaller pit-based sports like rat baiting, like that's any better, in handling working tasks. Okay, rat baiting. So you could see from a pit bull's perspective, because tiny little dogs are tiny, and some rats, rats are, yeah, or it could be like a tiny dog. They're good size. They could be a good size. And if a pit bull in its DNA, it's in its DNA, it is, your memory is in your DNA. Your traits from your parents are in your DNA. That's why sometimes you'll see, I know that from psychology, guys, from studying, but not because I'm a doctor, not any of that. Okay, so, but listen, for example, let's say your parent always does this, and his grandparent, his father always did it, and that father always did it, and you find yourself doing it. It's in your DNA. That's how strong the DNA is in our biological, emotional, mental, cognitive skills, all of it. So anyway, in late 19th and 20th century, the immigrants, I don't know what immigrants, it doesn't say, it must be England. Immigrants brought these dogs to America, where they were further developed into the heavier, distinct American Pit Bull Terrier, and later recognized under. So let me tell you the sad part of the American history. They brought those dogs here, and then, in the crime world, they used them again, you know what I mean, and kept them chained up, and, we find these dogs, not in good condition. Very sad. It's not the dog's fault. So guys, that's a little history on it. It's only a 200-year history, but the Old English Bulldog is what this pit bull is part of. And the Old English Bulldog, you're talking more hundreds of years, and actually of bull baiting. That is very serious. You cannot just break that. You can't break it. But I think giving pit bulls something to work on every day, excuse me, that might be, not everybody can do this, but might be in the way of having them fetch something, you know what I mean? Might help deter or curve that behavior, but it's in their DNA. Okay, so we've got that. That is super interesting right there. Okay, so history and genetics. 19th century breeders mixed old bulldogs with terriers and created the pit bull. Selective traits. Handlers bred them for their high tenacity, and they do have an intense tenacity. They just do. Gameness and dog-directed drive, but actively selected against human aggression, so handlers could safely separate dogs during fights. So this is my, okay, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm sure other people have, but I personally would like to see pit bulls selected and trained more for protection, in not households. You've got to be careful if you're doing that. You really have to know how to handle this dog. And what I'm talking about is in big crime rings, like with investigators and the government and police, like hunting down drug people. That's what I'm talking about. Drug criminals. I think these dogs would be amazing in that. Okay, they're fast. I wager to think they're faster than a German Shepherd. I'm just saying. They use German Shepherds. Why can't they use the Army and why can't they use pit bulls? Because these guys already have been trained for hundreds of years. So, and that would give people, it would give the dog more purpose, and it would slowly transition their DNA memory. It would change it. Um, it would definitely change it over a number of generations. So, modern DNA. Oh, okay. Let's look at the modern DNA. Speaking of which, shelter dogs labeled as pit bulls are typically diverse mutts, but they're not mutts. They're thoroughbred. I wish that they didn't say this. They're saying it. They're mutts, carrying genetic markers for multiple terrier, mastiff, and bulldog breeds rather than a uniform lineage. I mean, I don't know about that. Because if you have two pit bulls as parents, you get pit bulls. Why are they saying that about a pit bull, but they're calling a labradoodle that's part lab and part poodle labradoodle? Why is that a breed in itself? No, a pit bull is a breed in itself. You took the English bulldog and you took the terrier, and that's the lineage, and it is a pit bull. Rest assured. So I'm surprised that's on there. That's how it works. Innate tendencies. This is the pit bull we're talking about, guys, and we're talking about it because if you're just coming in on the stream, oh, hi, Stephen. Hi. And we're just coming in on the stream there. Hi, Pitta. So we're talking about the recent incidents in Vermont of I believe it was in Vermont, right? Of a Waitsfield, I think it was, of a pit bull unaliving a tiny little dog. Now we understand what's going on. The pit bull was unleashed. It is in its DNA. It went from bull baiting to rodent baiting for hundreds of years. Guys, that means in that dog's brain, anything that's tiny, guys, you're going to have a pit bull. You got to understand the lineage, what's going on with that dog. It is not the dog's fault. I feel so bad that that person lost their tiny little, because our pets are like they're our babies, guys. They're our babies. So yeah, leash them, have them on a I don't know what would you call, like a saddle leash? What do you call that? It goes over the body harness, yeah. And have them on a harness, and have them on a couple. Make sure that there's people around them and pets around them understand when they see something small moving, probably up to 40 pounds. You best be holding on to that dog because it's in their DNA, guys. And when you talk about the bull baiting, so it's even larger. I mean, I don't know. Environmental factors. Experts emphasize that the dog's daily environment, socialization, and owner management play an enormous role in shaping actual behavior, meaning physical appearance or shelter DNA labels do not dictate an individual's dog temperament. The only thing I'm going to disagree with about that is this. They do need to factor in the genetics. For example, me as a human, okay? My mom had hypertension. I look very much like her. Guess what? I have hypertension. The high blood pressure, it's there. I'm just saying that I disagree with them on that. So that part, like holistically, you do need to always consider that. Even with great socialization, they can get mixed up, okay? So I feel really bad for these pit bulls. Now so we learned this morning they were brought over here from England, and over there for hundreds of years they were doing bull baiting and then went to rat baiting. So and 24/7 that dog was on cue. Okay, guys, so that's the unfortunate. God bless these families that lost their pets. And God bless the family with the pit bull, because they may lose those pit bulls as a result. It doesn't say. I am saying that's the process. I just even hate to say it, but so okay. Now the next thing I want to go to is I thought we had here some wildlife conflicts. Okay. So, a couple of things in the wildlife world. The Vermont Fish and Wildlife continues to field high numbers of property and garbage incursions. And they're telling you to secure your bird feeders, compost, and recycling to prevent the bears from becoming aggressive, because what happens is they become aggressive when there's food. Now, I don't have any bird feeder up. I went back and forth on it, and I realized that there definitely was an increase. I believe the increase has anything to do with bird feeders. I believe it has everything to do with the bears and the wildlife losing their habitat, as I see an incredible amount of apartment buildings that keep going up in Vermont, and at an incredible 2,000 plus a month. So when we have more and more people working, if they're working full time, even 2 jobs, they can't afford a home. That's not right. You should be able to afford basic living. So, and you cannot stigmatize any of these people or families, guys. This is everybody, okay? So, what I think is happening is these animals are losing more space, and they're coming out looking for food. So what I'm doing is I actually had birds at this window, like little baby birds at this window looking for food. And it was not because of the last person who lived here, for sure, did not feed those birds. And there wasn't anybody here for a very long time either. So with that, they were out there. So what I do is just give them in the morning. I give a baby brood there. I break up a piece of bread. I put it down I throw it down on the driveway. I was putting it up on the railing like a little bit so Umi and Mashuki could see. Sorry, honeys. So Umi and Mashuki could see the birds outside. And, but I put one piece, break it up in the morning, put it out. They eat it all up. So it's gone for hours. And then I put another piece all broken up later in the afternoon, and it's totally gone by supper time. So they are getting their food, but it's gone. It's not there during the night when a bear or skunk or raccoon or something, there's nothing there because they eat it up. Okay? What you saying, guys? They hear a bird actually outside right now. See, that's Mashuki dancing. See him dancing and singing, guys? Yeah. So the other thing going on in the wildlife is the rabies alerts. The Vermont Department of Health reports active rabies surveillance, tracking higher virus vectors, mostly in raccoons, skunks, foxes, and bats. There are elevated concentrations noted in Orleans and Chittenden counties here in Vermont. Huh. Rabies. I think it's from garbage. Let's look it up, guys. Rabies in wild animals comes from Lissa virus that attacks the central nervous system. That's why kind of they're like wobbly, like that, and then they can move really fast and then they go really slow. Wild animals catch it when an already infected animal bites them or transfers the virus-laden saliva into an open wound or mucous membrane. Evolutionary origin, that's what I'm curious about. Most users on Reddit agree that the rabies virus likely evolved historically from ancestral strains carried by bats. Again, bats. We keep thinking, I'm just saying, the last few viruses we were talking about were from bats or rats, and yeah, so eventually adapting to spread among mammals over the centuries. The cycle of infection is the rabid animal bites another animal. The virus travels slowly through the nerves and towards the spinal cord and the brain. And once it reaches the brain, it multiplies rapidly, altering the animal's behavior, causing aggression, confusion, or loss of fear. Loss of fear means they have no discretion, you know what I mean? They're not going to be afraid of you. They'll run right up to you. So you need to not, even if you think they're moving slow or they're sick, don't go near them, guys. Call Vermont Fish and Wildlife, okay? And then it moves into the glands, and then at that point it might bite another victim or it may pass. Okay, so at some point it's going to pass, right? Okay, so that's the that's the rabies. So I guess the origin is bats. Very interesting to me. Now, invasive species pressures. This is Vermont again. Let me just read this before we get to the spiders. State biologists have warned that irresponsible pet releases, such as non-native pond sliders, are threatening delicate native turtle habitats across numerous Vermont towns. Non-native pond sliders. Let's see, what are pond sliders? Do you know what they are? I think I know what they are. Pond slider is a type of turtle. So they're saying a type of turtle is the reason that the native turtles are being threatened in Vermont. So, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, if you buy a pet and you don't want it, rehome it. Don't let it go into the wild. Okay, now, in Vermont, I'm going to put the camera on the pictures here of the spiders, okay? So, let's see here. In Vermont, guys, Vermont is home to over 100 species of spiders. Most of them are harmless, and they're non-aggressive. But can I say why I'm looking this up? Right now, this is the time of year that you're going to start seeing these guys come out. I don't know why it's this time of year, but they do come out and about. So, And most of them are beneficial for natural pest control. So let's remember that one. Common outdoor and indoor varieties include, let's see, the orb weaver. So we're going to look up each of these spiders, okay? This is the orb weaver. This is what it looks like. Look how big that is. It's an orb weaver. Ooh, looks poisonous to me. Wheel-shaped circular webs in the garden and near homes. Examples include marbled orb and shamrock spider. It doesn't say. Oh, we'll read down here which ones are harmful, I guess. Wolf spiders, those scare me to death. Oh God, those get big. I saw one once, that's all I needed to see. Wolf spider, I only needed to see it once. This is a wolf spider. See how big he is? All right. Cellar spiders, or daddy long legs. We know what they look like. I have one in the home here. Very large daddy long leg, and I'm going to put it outside shortly. Okay, you'll see those around up in your corners. You'll see daddy long leg. Jumping spider, active hunters with great vision that jump rather than run. I saw one earlier this spring. This is a jumping spider. And we're going to find out which ones are poisonous. And then yellow sac spiders. I would say, unless you're absolutely sure it's a daddy long leg, don't try to pick up a spider, guys. Okay. Medical safety and venom. Harmless species. Vast majority of the Vermont spiders possess venom that is strictly meant for subduing insects and poses no medical threat to humans. This is a rare concern, though. While occasional northern black widows have been documented in the region, confirmed or dangerous encounters remain exceptionally rare. Brown recluse spiders are not native to Vermont. Okay, so let's see what the black widow spider looks like for those of us, if you haven't seen one. This is the black widow spider, and it has looks like it has a red marking on the back of it. And the brown recluse, guys, this is what it looks like. Now you got to be careful, because this, you can see the it looks like little fangs to me. But when you look at this spider quickly, this looks like quickly you might think it's a daddy long leg, because you see, but it's a brown recluse, and they're very dangerous in the way that they have dangerous venom. Let's see if we can now they're not in Vermont, so that's good to know. But University of Kentucky, let's do Penn State here, see what they say. So this is the brown recluse. There's 11 species of lexoscales that are indigenous to the United States, 4 of which are known to be harmful to humans. The brown recluse spider is in, these are the states it's in: Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, and Iowa, Kansas and Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, Ohio, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Texas. So they're mostly in the southwest. And in addition, isolated occurrences have been in Arizona, California, and District of Columbia, Florida, and North Carolina. So New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Washington, and Wyoming. The brown recluse are rarely encountered in Pennsylvania, but they may be transported in boxes when people move. Oh, so this is the area, look. So they're found over here too, though. The southern part of California, Arizona, right there. And Texas, all the states we just named. Okay. So that's interesting. Okay. Okay, guys, now we have, if I can find it here, I got a lovely video to share with you. It's on, I'm going to turn this down. Now, my birds are going to love this. Hi, guys. They're going to love this music. So let's get this bigger. This is by the Cornell Lab. For those of you not familiar, it's a bird academy. And they're going to share music with us on the video here, I believe. This is how it goes. So they say, step into the right woodland of dusk or dawn. You might hear the forest flute section. So this is like the birds that sound like flutes. They sound like an orchestra. So thrushes produce some of the most beautiful sounds in North America, guys. Their unique double voice box, known as the syrinx, from the Greek word panpipes, allows them to sing 2 notes simultaneously. That's just amazing to me. Is that just like a miracle? Seriously. And blend them into a clear, layered song. So this is what you might find from the thrush. Can you hear it? It looks like my birds. It really does. Listen to that. God, that's gorgeous. Listen. Number 1, very, Veery. Okay, let's listen again to that. That's astounding. That's very beautiful. Okay. Oh, do they have the next one here? Okay, so the next one is the Swenson's thrush. Now, I don't know if you just caught that, but I'm going to leave this. I'm going to put the sound of the bird on. Look, guys, my birds just copied that melody because I don't know why they don't make a bigger deal over the finches. Pet finches will mimic and learn melodies. They just mimicked that. So I'm going to leave it on them for a moment and put the next one on so you can hear it. And listen to the pet finches copy this. If they can. Oh, this is low. Flip it. That was really low. Okay, so that's all we're going to get from that. My birds probably couldn't even hear that. All right, let's see. The next one. That's the same one. Now, that was the one up here. The Swanson's thrush isn't coming in too good. So the next one is the hermit thrush. Listen how beautiful that is, guys. You hear that, Omi and Mashuke? Yeah. Now Mashuki's responding to that. Put this on again. Watch him come to the cage there. Hi, honey. You hear the birdies? He knows that's a different sound. So he knew that was a totally different sound. Okay, guys, that's pretty much what I have today. I hope that you enjoyed that with the birds. And we'll make the next video just about birds, okay, guys? And so we won't be mixing it with the, but you know, I just love animals so much. So I feel like as much as we can do to help each other, especially with our beautiful Pitbull community nowadays, just understanding the history of these pets, I think will help the owners to be, you know, understand. For example, now that I know, I did not know that they were, I knew that they were related to the English Bulldog, and I know the Bulldog was a bull baiter. I knew that, but I didn't realize how many hundreds of years, and that it was like, you know, they were breeding and breeding them for that. So I thought there was just selective few. You know, you just don't think like that grandiose about it. But the Mashuki just tried to mimic that bird, by the way. I was just listening to my bird. So with that, the Pitbull community, if we can, you know, you can have a dog and not really even realize the history, and that the DNA is playing such a large part. Now, they also said in the AI summary that some of the pit bulls were crossed with mastiffs, and mastiffs are huge. I don't know if you guys know. I'm going to get a picture of one here before we go, because you've got to see. These are huge dogs. These are the one dog, if I see, yeah. No, that's not the one I'm thinking of. Hang on. This is a mastiff, but it's not the one I'm thinking of. Let me get a cross. I'll show you both of them in a minute. Cross mastiff and pit bull. I just want to see. There's a certain dog. Hold on a second. This is the dog. I'm going to show you in a moment. Okay, so let's first go back here. This is what a mastiff, just before we go, guys, this is what a mastiff looks like. Okay, that's a mastiff. You see it? Pretty good sized dog. Let's get some images of the Mastiff. You see the images here? Pretty good sized dog. Now this is this dog right here. Okay, look size of the dog. Look at the person next to him, the little one. The kid. See the kid? See the size of the dog? Now, all I'm going to say here is these dogs were crossed with terriers, apparently, to be fighters. So you could have a dog that's kind of, you know, looking like this is a thoroughbred Mastiff, but you could have a dog looking like that and have a history of 400 years of bull baiting to put the dog in the situation with the child alone, right? You want to really, you know, realize that they can be triggered unbeknownst to themselves even. So, okay. So just enough said with that. I just kind of wanted to put that out there, and just being, I just love animals, and just think the history of them is super interesting. So guys, I hope you have a beautiful day. Be careful with the spiders. This is the time of year they seem to come out. I start to notice them out and about. I don't know why. Maybe because the insects are starting to die off. They're easier to catch, whatever. So with that, you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, it didn't shut off again, did it? No, it did not shut off. Well, guys, we're going to have this trouble again. It's not shutting off again. So I do not know why. We can't seem to end the stream. I'm going to have to